Over the last couple of weeks, we've been talking about and looking at different tools that help you use AI to get better website designs. Today, we're going to take that one step further and answer a question that regularly sort of pops up on the channel, the comments and things like that is, how do we make designs a lot less AI and generic? How do we make sure things are closer to what we envisage so we can start using those output? Well, let's take a look at one method that I think is probably overlooked a lot in the whole process of using AI to build site designs. So let's start off with a typical example. You're going to redesign a site, or you find a site that you kind of like parts of and you want to utilize that in your overall new design using AI. We could obviously just go in and take some screenshots and use those as a reference, but that really is not the best way of going about it. That will give you some good results, but you still have a lot of hit and miss going on. A better way of working is using that site, especially if it's your own or a client site where you have full access to it all. Use that information to create an overall style guide that includes not just colors and typography, but also the variables, things for your spacing, your colors, all those kinds of things. The more information you have that you can pass over to Claude, for example, or Codex, the better results you're going to get. Now, we'll also take a look at the end, how we can take those results and we can fine tune them a little bit more to get close to what we're looking for. And then if you wanted to use them as a straightforward HTML site, you absolutely could do. Or if you wanted to use those as a design idea that you take over then and start building yourself, it's up to you how you move forward with it. So this is what we're going to use. This is my Essential Web Designers Documents pack. And as you can see, it's got a very strong color scheme going on there, all the different bits and pieces. And I want to convey that same information inside a style guide. So how do we go about it? Very easy. So now I'm going to jump over into Claude and I'm going to use this to create the design system for me. Now you can use any good AI tool to handle this. I'm using a paid account here. And basically what I've done is I've said, I need you to take on the role of a senior web designer and build out a complete design system based on the URL from the website. Review the website for design patterns, colors, typography, scales, layout elements, and overall design feel, and create a full design system. That document is going to be the backbone of what we are going to use to create designs from this point on. Even if it's for a completely different project, it doesn't really matter. Then I just basically said, output it using a specific skill that I've created that just gives me a nice kind of end result. It's gone through, asked me a few questions. I might need to tweak a few bits and pieces, but at the end, what we end up with is a full design system with all the relevant information that I need inside there. So as you can see, this includes colors, typography, spacing, layouts, and components. And if we scroll through, we've got a table of contents. Then we've got our architecture and theme system, gives us all our colors. You can see the variables there that we're using for those. So primary 1-1, and so on. Backgrounds and text body, color design system for dark mode because I've got the ability to switch between the two, my fluid typography scales, my heading element defaults, my fluid spacing scale, layouts and grid breakpoints, grid utilities, so border and radius and shadows, shadow scale, components for buttons and cards, card designs, lots and lots of information that I can now use and give this into whatever tool I'm using to actually code this. So I'm using VS Code and I've already created a couple of pages using this same system. But literally all you do is upload this as your first prompt, tell it to explicitly use that particular design system, and then everything from that point on should reference back to it inside that conversation, whether you're using Codex or using Claude AI, it doesn't really matter, or Claude Code, doesn't really matter. You've given it the guidelines. This is the instruction rule book. So now what we've got is we've got the code for a couple of pages. You can see I've just created a couple of pages for a redesign I'm working on for the WPTuts website. I wanted some ideas. I didn't necessarily want to say copy it verbatim, but give me ideas using the color schemes and the color combinations and the variables and things inside my design system. So what we ended up with is this. As you can see, it's using all of the colors that we've transitioned over from our design system. It's taking all that information on board. So if we scroll through, you can see we've got various different sections inside here. It's using the corner radiuses, it's using the spacing, it's using the color scheme that I've actually applied to it. All those key things are here. So now I've got a more consistent design. For example, if we come over to the archive, open this up and we'll preview this, you can see same typography, same spacing, same colors, same overall rule set, same design elements. All those things are here for us. Same thing goes if we come into a written tutorial, for example. Again, we'll open this up with Greenlight. And as you can see, it follows the same design system. So all the same design languages here, all of that is set up and configured for us. Obviously, because we're using something like Greenlight, where I can come in and I can choose anything here, I can see exactly what's going on. So for example, if we come into the heading, select our heading. Now over on the right-hand side, I've got all the information here. It shows me what class is being used. You can see the sizing is being used here, the font weight, all that information is here. So if we wanted to refine this design now, we can absolutely use the absolutely free Greenlight to be able to do this. Also, if you have a GreenShift Pro or all-in-one account, you get access to the full premium version of Greenlight, which has a couple of extra things in there. But to be honest, the free version does more than enough. I'll cover this in its own video. Check that out down below. But this is the process that I'm currently using myself to come up with design ideas to make sure they fall in line with the styling and everything that I've passed over into the style guide. And as you can see, all these 4 pages are being done at different times with, in this example, Claude AI, but every one of them is referencing back to that design system. And as you can see, all of the styling is consistent throughout all of the different page templates that it's creating for me. So I don't have to keep telling it what to do. There's an instruction guide uploaded, again, using AI to start off with anyway. And if you want to refine that, you absolutely can do. But this is a much better approach to creating designs that are far more consistent using a very simple tool set. And the only thing you actually need here that's paid for is have a Claude AI or a Codex account, which is ChatGPT. You're talking $20, £20, whatever it is, roughly a month, and it gives you access to these options, which you can then come in and customize to your heart's content without having to go back and keep spending tokens to make simple changes. So this is a really solid way of being able to combine various different tools with minimal cost involved to get a much more consistent end result. But as always, I'm going to pass the question over to you. Is this the kind of system that you're already using, or has this opened your eyes to how you could use it yourself and help you get better, more consistent results using AI tools like Codex or Claude Code? Let me know in the comments down below. As always, all applicable links are in the description. My name is Paul C. This is WPTuts, and until next time, take care.